Yeah, that's from Triangular Fusion Between Worlds, a sci-fi musical odyssey. That's part one of I have 10 songs on that album, and you can listen to that full song over at Circuits FM on YouTube. And if you go down to the bottom of this of my YouTube page here, Engineer IDE, and you can follow that link over to Circuits FM, and you can listen to all those songs. So thought I would share that with you. Probably share that song, one of the other songs from the album, in the next video as well. Why not? It's music I created. So I have a lot of bumper music that I could use for these videos, for these episodes. My theme music is still my theme music, so you'll still get the music at the end, which is normally my theme music. You'll get that video. Anyway, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. It's great to be back with you. Hope you are doing well. I am your host. You can watch and listen to me on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Probably the best place to watch these is on YouTube. I create these videos in the style of classic radio, so you can listen while working out in the gym. It's a great place to listen to these. You could also listen to my Circuits FM station in the gym as well. Or morning, afternoon, or evening walk around the neighborhood. It's also another great place to listen to these videos while you're doing chores or cleaning the house. I will listen to these videos while I'm cleaning the house. Sometimes I will record these videos days in advance, and so I will go ahead and record them then, or I'll re-listen to them. And like I said before, I only do these in one take, so you get the first shot. I do not re-record these. Of course, the activity is up to you, depending on how you do it, but I'm just glad that you chose to include me in your activity. So thank you for that. Please like, share, and subscribe, because it does feed the AI algorithm. And finally, please post your comments and questions below. It'd be wonderful to hear from you. And let's jump into it. Let's jump into our article for today. Here we go. This article from, this article is from USA Today, but their website is intolerable as far as how many ads and trying to get around it. It's a nightmare. So sometimes every once in a while, I have to create an article on X. Of course, I'm probably going to delete the article after I do this video because technically this is not my content and I don't want to take credit for it. This is somebody else's, but I'm allowed to read through their articles. So this is a temporary measure. But here we go. Article: More Wendy's restaurants will use AI to take your drive-through order this year. This is from Amaris Encinas, and this was just last month. So, article begins here. I have papers all over my desk. Here we go. Find the right one. If you plan on hitting the drive-through at Wendy's this year, there's a chance an ordering assistant named FreshAI may take the order. Now, remember in a previous video, I covered McDonald's drive-through AI, and this was a video from last summer. And so here were some of the highlights. This is going to be important when we go through this. Excuse me. Because in our video from I believe I did this video last summer. I will post that video below on YouTube so you can watch it. From last summer, they tried IBM. McDonald's tried IBM. They did the test for about 3 years and it did not work out. And so they parted ways, and then they ended up going with Google, I believe, which was. So here's some of the highlights I wrote down from the previous video. First highlight: McDonald's ended its relationship with IBM and started a relationship with Google Cloud. So yeah, that's right. Google Cloud was the new tech they were going to use, or they were going to test for their drive-throughs. Second highlight: in a previous episode, I discussed the franchisees and AI. That's right. So in previous episodes, I'd also covered the AI part of, or the franchise part of it, and that is what I was claiming was if you have a McDonald's restaurant or a Wendy's, Taco Bell, they franchise. And so what I said is that a great way, it's a great opportunity for a franchise because you don't have to take on the costs of testing an AI system. As a part of the franchise, if you could, I'm not exactly sure how that would work behind closed doors, but I imagine you could volunteer for it, or maybe, say in this case McDonald's, or in this case Wendy's, they would come and they would ask you, hey, you interested? We'll cover the costs. Because not all their stores are owned by corporate. Some of them are run by franchisees. So that's advantageous. Whereas if you're just a mom and pop shop, if you only own 2 stores, you're not a franchise. Well, that's going to be really expensive for you. So the franchises have an advantage there. Last highlight: McDonald's is committed to innovation across digital delivery and drive-through. Right. So McDonald's is going to drive that change. They're going to try to implement that technology. And of course, we're going to see the same thing here in this article with Wendy's. So the article continues here. In a February 13 earnings call, CEO Kirk Tanner revealed Wendy's would deploy voice-enabled AI order taking at up to 600 restaurants across the country because the fast food chain really liked the results of the pilot program, which incorporated the technology at nearly 100 restaurants. And just to give you an idea of what this means in context. So there are 5,945 Wendy's restaurants across the U.S., and there are 7,240 restaurants globally. Depending on, so before they did 100 restaurants, now they're going to do 600. They don't really say how they where those restaurants are located. Exactly, do they? I think they might here in the article later on. No, I think they do in their statement. Anyway, that could be, the point is that could be between 8 and 10% of their total restaurants, just to give you an idea for 600. And they have previously had 100. So the end goal is to get AI into all the restaurants, but they're doing this incrementally. They're not going to do it all at once. Anyway, that's something to keep in mind. If we ever get numbers like this, 600, 100, and you have a fast food chain like that, there's a lot of restaurants. And they're not going to do it all at once because that's just too expensive. They're going to test out a third-party vendor because that's what Google is. They're a third-party vendor with respect to Wendy's. Just like they're a third-party vendor with respect to McDonald's, and IBM's a third-party vendor. And by the way, this is not uncommon for a company to try out a third-party vendor to see how the technology works, to see if it can be incorporated into their business model, and then for it not to work. And in this case, Wendy's really likes what they're saying. And I have the statement by Wendy's, so we'll get in that here in a little bit. Article continues here. Let's go down here. Let's scroll down so you can see this. And by the way, this is a Grok generated image. You kind of see the eye is loopy there, but yeah, Grok does all right. It's definitely not the best one out there. Article continues here. FreshAI, that's the name of the Wendy's AI technology, or the technology that Google is implementing for them. It improves the customer experience and enable some labor efficiencies in our restaurants. It's kind of strange language. I would say improves labor efficiencies, but I would ask the question: how does it improve customer experience? That's left out of the article, because the technology has to do two things. It has to meet a pain point by the customer. It has to make their experience better. It also has to save the company money. So it has to solve those two pain points. And in the previous video of McDonald's, IBM wasn't doing that. Right? And there's going to be, and then a question you should ask is, well, how do we measure that? Well, you could ask for feedback from customers as they interact with it, and then you could see if you could, let's say, compare orders. Do your employees get a higher percentage of orders correct, or does AI get a higher percentage correct? And in the previous video, I believe it was 95%. Let's see here. Yeah, accuracy needs to be 95% or more is what McDonald's was looking for from IBM. And not to steal my own thunder, but I believe Google Cloud exceeded that, at least for Wendy's. Anyway, let's continue here. Well, no, another question here. How does it improve labor efficiency? So I think I talked about that. I just talked about that. Right. So it's got to improve. It's got to address those pain points, or that pain point of reducing the number of inaccurate orders. And then it also has to increase time, or decrease the amount of time, rather. Decrease the amount of time that it takes to get your order. So those are going to be at least two problems that this technology needs to address. Let's continue here. Quote here by Tanner: "We have a lot of confidence." Tanner said, "One thing I love about it, it continues to get better." Let's here. Tanner says he puts fresh to the test between 3 and 4 times a week at a Wendy's in Dublin, Ohio, near the chain's headquarters. FreshAI gives Wendy's customers the opportunity to build their orders and understands what to ask for. So another important to keep in mind here is AI is a probability machine. It's a probability machine. That means, well, this is not a good comparison. You flip a coin. Flipping a coin is a probabilistic system. And boy, I really hope I don't lose you on this one. But anyway, you can't you can't you can't predict with 100% certainty that the coin is going to land on heads or tails. That's not a thing. Now imagine AI. AI is much more complicated. And then you try to implement AI into a system like this. It's never going to be 100%. Of course, people aren't going to be 100% at this either. The AI will win the day if it's more efficient, if its probability of success is higher, but it's never going to be 100%. So if it gets it wrong sometimes, that's okay. It gets it wrong as long as it's not in life or death situations. But in the case of your order being correct, it might every once in a while get it wrong, depending on how well the AI system is designed. Let's see. Article continues here. Tanner also noted the accuracy of the tool was definitely improving. Wendy's could incorporate FreshAI to the rest of the system if the accelerated rollout proves successful. Google Cloud is assisting Wendy's with the FreshAI rollout, Business Insider reported. Right. And then, as I said before, this is looking like it's going to be an incremental process. So they're going to go from 100 stores to 600 storefronts or restaurants, whatever term you want to use, to 1,200 and so on and so forth before it gets implemented in all the stores across Wendy's. And I guess again, like I said before, I imagine that'll include franchises. Tanner, a quote from Tanner here: "It's got a bright future, and we're moving forward." Tanner said. Wendy's did not immediately respond to USA Today's request for comment. Let's continue here. Wendy's customers divided on FreshAI. Yeah, and I imagine people are going to be divided on it. Some people are not going to like it, and some people are going to like it. But we'll get into that here in a second. Wendy's customers are split on how they feel about FreshAI, voicing their opinions and concerns with automation at the drive-thru there, and at other fast food joints in the Wendy's subreddit. We'll just say Wendy's subreddit there. An online community on Reddit dedicated to sharing information about Wendy's. The thing about articles, sometimes they leave out information I want to know, so I have to ask the questions. The questions I would want to know. What's the split? Is the split, if customers are split on this, are they split 30-70, 40-60, 50-50, 60-40, 70-30? What's the split? These are things Wendy's has to weigh. Now, Wendy's might just try to implement a technology no matter what because it creates a more efficient system for them, and then the customers will just have to deal with it. That's possible. But there is the side effect of if you get enough customers who don't like it, even if it's more efficient, those customers go someplace else. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. Probably what will happen is Wendy's will just implement it eventually completely, and then customers will just have to deal with it. Because Wendy's is always gaining new customers. Always gaining new customers in the market, I imagine. Let's continue here. Quote, said, sad to say this, but AI drive-thru is way better than real people, one user wrote. Here's another grok image. Let's put Wendy's customer eating a cheeseburger. I put a prompt in. It said, give me a customer eating a Wendy's customer eating a cheeseburger. That was actually kind of difficult for grok to do that. But anyway, right. Some people are going to prefer it. Some people are going to prefer the AI. Some people won't prefer it. And it's going, like I said, it's going to affect choices and preferences. Continues here. The lack of human interaction for others was disappointing. According to one user, the day I pull, and it's a quote here, the day I pull up and there is no human interaction is the day I ordered 10 meal deals, drive off, and never return. Well, that would be called theft. That would be called theft. That's called theft. Let's continue with the article here. Well, let's see, quote here. Well, I was going to go to Wendy's today with my family. That's all off now. Someone else wrote off to a mom and pop. I go, right. There's nothing wrong with the mom and pop shops. Mom and pop shops have good burgers. Right. Some people prefer human interaction and will continue to prefer human interaction. I know I do. I prefer human interaction. I use AI. Obviously, I use AI, the video or the music at the beginning of this video, AI generated. The image at the beginning of this video, AI generated. I have a AI theme. I talk about AI. So I'm very much I understand the mathematics underneath AI. And so it's good. Like I was going to say before, I'm very much an AI person. And I'm always looking for AI ways to implement AI at work, even if management fights me on it. Yes. They will fight you on it. You're probably thinking, well, that doesn't make any sense. That's industry. Try to do a lot of things that make things more efficient, and management will push back on it, even if it helps them. Let's continue the article here. Well, I'm going to continue the article. Obviously, you could go to that link, and I will post this link on YouTube, so you have Admirable, so you have direct access to it. I guess I'm not going to keep this article up for very much longer. But the article continues here. If we were on the website, Wendy's is hardly the first fast food chain to incorporate AI at the drive-thru window. Last year, McDonald's, which I talked about in a previous video, and talk about both experimented with AI. And I'll probably end up going back and doing a video on Taco Bell and other restaurants. Amazingly, or surprisingly to me, when I started this venture, I didn't think I was going to be doing videos on restaurants. And I've done actually quite a few videos on restaurants. So I have a decent idea of what is transpiring with AI in the restaurant industry, which to me is kind of amazing because I didn't think that was going to happen that way. But anyway, last paragraph of the article here. McDonald's halted tests after customers reported the tool got orders wrong, and Taco Bell implemented the AI voice feature at approximately 300 restaurants, Business Insider said. Right. So I haven't done the Taco Bell. That's the end of the article. I haven't done a video on Taco Bell, but I can tell you I've done a video, like I said before, on McDonald's. And so McDonald's worked with IBM for 3 years, and that did not pan out the way they wanted it to. It did not pan out. They were looking for a percentage of an efficiency of 95% or more for getting orders correct, and IBM did not do that. That was Google Cloud apparently is doing that. So let's jump over here. Let's jump over to this next article, or actually it's a blog from Wendy's.com. I did this with McDonald's as well. So let's see what Wendy's has to say. I might have to, have to blow this up a little bit. There we go. That's better. All right. Article starts here. Now, this is from Wendy's.com. This is their blog. So they are going to try to put the best frame on this possible. They're not going to tell us about all the mistakes or all the stuff that went wrong. This is marketing that would put this together. If you didn't know that, marketing would put this together. The engineers are not going to put this together. This is going to be marketing's job, the marketing department. and I imagine it's going to be their marketing department or something close to that. And they are the ones that are going to provide the information. So we shouldn't see anything negative about it. It should all be positive. But that doesn't mean there's not anything negative going on behind the scenes. So I just want us to keep that in mind as we go through this. All right. Blog begins, leading drive-through innovation with Wendy's FreshAI. How Wendy's is enhancing customer and crew experiences with industry-leading generative AI technology. And by the way, I don't think this is necessarily going to get rid of any jobs. I don't think that's going to happen. Somebody still has to maintain the system or systems. AI can't get the fries for you. AI can't make the burgers for you yet. AI can't hand you the bag. AI can't help to make sure the items are in your bag. So if we were to go into a store, a restaurant like Wendy's or McDonald's, there are still going to be people in there working. And you're probably going to see a help wanted sign out front because they need people to cover shifts. This will improve the process. This will help them become better at their jobs. That's likely what's going to happen. Let's get back to the article here. This is from December 11th, 2023. There's a real image. Obviously a lot different than the ones I got on Grok. Boy, if Grok could do that, that'd be great. Blog starts off earlier this year. Wendy's announced an expansion of our partnership with Google Cloud, just like McDonald's, tapping into world-class technology and resources, develop an industry-leading generative AI platform, what we're calling Wendy's FreshAI. So, just to give you a little bit of inside baseball, this is not an industry I work in, but I do work with third-party vendors. And what will happen is if you're at a company, you're an engineer, you'll take the third-party vendor technology, you'll become very familiar with it, you get to know how to use it, and then you will implement it into your own technology. And that's probably what's happening here. So I imagine Google's engineers are working with McDonald's engineers in order to implement this technology into not McDonald's, but Wendy's technology. I bet $100 that's what's happening. Let's continue here with the article. At the heart of our innovation is enhancing the crew and customer experience the Wendy's way, focusing on quality and meeting our customers where and how they want to order their Wendy's favorites. Right. Let's continue here with this blog. Well, actually, let me take a step back here. So in McDonald's moved from IBM over to Google Cloud. And now Wendy's is using Google Cloud as well for their AI. So it begs the question, how many major fast food restaurants are using Google Cloud versus IBM? It doesn't say here in this blog or in the article, but I'm just wondering about that. It's something I'd be very curious to see who's dominating this market, or if they're still competing against each other and nobody's really dominated the market yet. Or how it's going to play out. I don't know. Let's continue here. I just think that's an interesting question. Anyway, let's continue. Why use generative AI to automate the Wendy's drive-thru? Experimenting with traditional rule-based AI chatbots can take years of development and tremendous work to maintain, modify, and expand capabilities. Unlike traditional rule-based systems, Wendy's FreshAI uses generative AI to generate responses and adapt in real time instead of just following a narrow set of rules. Right, those are the different types of AIs they're talking about. Wendy's FreshAI is not just a speaker and a microphone. It's a personalized, responsive experience for every customer. Considering there are more than 200 billion ways to order a Dave's Double, are there more than 200 billion ways to order a Dave's Double? It's been a while since I've been to Wendy's, so I don't know if there's 200 billion ways. I imagine there's a few different ways, but are there 200 billion ways? Leveraging generative AI is a crucial piece of innovating the Wendy's drive-thru experience for customers. By the way, I think there's a way to figure that. In fact, I know there's a way to figure out how many different ways there could be. I think I know how to do it. That's the funny part. Is I actually think I know how to do it. Yeah, no certain type of mathematics for it. Well, it's not that complicated actually, but it's not something people would actually think of. How many different ways you could order a day is double, and I would say, I think I actually could figure that out. I think I know how to do that. I actually really think I know how to do that. Let's see here. Article. Let's see. The blog continues. How is Wendy's FreshAI benefiting customers and crew? We take a simplistic and transparent view of what success means. We measure success by real-world results, right? As they should. They should be collecting data and analyzing that data and see if it makes sense for them. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to continue. I'm going to read the same thing over there. We measure success by real-world results. Orders submitted without human intervention and a consistent experience at the drive-thru. After all, in the end, it's all about delivering an unmatched experience for both our crew and our customers. Wendy's FreshAI is enhancing, and here we go. Here's some of their data. Speed. The benefits of speed of service continue throughout the time a customer is in the drive-thru. Right. I kind of referred to that earlier. With one test site showing service times 22 seconds faster than the Columbus market average. So Columbus, Ohio. The technology is allowing restaurant teams to focus on preparing and completing orders to serve up quality and speed. Right. So like I said before, it's making their system more efficient. It's not replacing the worker. It's making the worker more efficient. So whereas before, when they're trying to deal with taking orders from the customer and the frustration of that, if you watch the first video, I kind of get into language barriers and technology barriers. Well, now AI is doing that work for them. So now the workers can focus on other stuff. And again, I don't actually think this is going to replace anybody. I think it's going to make workers more efficient. There's still going to be somebody monitoring. There still has to be somebody monitoring the orders. So that job, the person before, and that'll probably be the person who was taking the orders. That'll be the person monitoring the orders, making sure the orders are complete, and making sure the orders are correct. Because like I said before, AI is a probability machine. It's going to get orders wrong sometimes. So it's important they catch those faster than sooner. So that system, that job's going to change to something else. So we can say, well, that got rid of that job and it created another job. But all that happened is this person was working this job. That's no longer a thing. So now the person is going to work this new job. And if that is the case, which I believe it is, based off of what I'm reading, and based off a little logic, we are actually seeing jobs replaced in real time with new jobs. Tell me if I'm wrong. Go ahead, post your comment below. I'd love to hear from you. I really would. Questions, questions, statements, criticisms. If you really like what I do, put that below. If you have questions about anything I talk about, put that below. If you have an alternative point of view or alternative argument, put that down below. I'd love to hear from you. But based off of the data I have, my conclusion is the person who was working the window, who was taking the orders, that person's no longer going to do that specific job. Not like that. The job's going to change. to something else. Excuse me. Like I said before, that person's now going to make sure that orders are complete and that they're correct. Because it's about the pain points. It's about decreasing time. Like I said here, 22 seconds faster than the Columbus market average. I don't know if there are other markets that they're comparing it to. That might change based off the market. I don't know. Be interesting to see that data. And making sure, so decrease time, make sure the order is correct. At least increase the probability that the order is going to be correct. Again, they're going to get it wrong occasionally. But the idea is to decrease how often that happens. That's the idea here. So let's continue. The technology is allowing restaurant teams to focus on preparing and completing orders to serve up quality and speed. Again, decrease time. Make sure that's make sure it's the order that the customer's ordering. Make sure that that's what it is. Completeness, quality. In addition to speed, accuracy. Article continues here. Other companies working in this space define the term accuracy as any order that is started by the AI assistant and submitted to the point of sale system. This also includes orders where a crew member joins the conversation to correct an inaccuracy. With this as a benchmark, Wendy's FreshAI success rate can be nearly 99%. That's impressive. Remember, IBM wasn't doing even 95% over at McDonald's, which is why they ended the 3-year relationship and were starting a new relationship with Google Cloud. 99% is pretty damn good, if you ask me. Let's continue here. Our accuracy during the pilot measured as the percentage of orders successfully handled by Wendy's FreshAI without restaurant team member intervention. Right? Doesn't mean that they're still not there. The team member is still there. They're just making sure that it's correct. You still need that control there. That's that safety net. Let's see here. The percent of orders successfully handled by Wendy's FreshAI without restaurant team member intervention averaged 86%, and we would expect the average to only increase. 86% without. Okay, so this is interesting. Let me read this again. With this as a benchmark, Wendy's FreshAI success rate can be nearly 99%. Let's hold that thought. Our accuracy during the pilot measured as the percentage of orders successfully handled by Wendy's FreshAI without restaurant team member intervention averaged 86%. Without. That means there's a difference of 99 to 86%. That means there's a person there who is making sure that order is getting corrected to 99%. They're telling us right there what it means, what's happening. Without a restaurant member, it's 86%. 86% without. This is, by the way, I'm assuming this is across stores. Now, it doesn't say if it's across all 100 or if it's just across the ones that are in the Columbus area. Doesn't give us that data. And you would say, well, Doc, why would we need that data? It could be the case. Maybe the technology might work in some areas and it might not work in others. I don't know. I don't know until I look at the data. The data will tell me where to go. And that's probably not a sufficient answer for you. It's probably not good enough. And I apologize for that. But I've been around data enough to know that the data will kind of tell you where to go. But that's interesting. I want to go through this point again. 99% success rate. But 86% rate, 86% rate without without a team member intervention. 86%. It'd be interesting to see how those numbers compare to IBM's numbers over at McDonald's. That's what I would like to see. Would like to see that data. Now, Wendy's, if I ask for that data from Wendy's, they're probably going to tell me to go pound sand. If I ask for that data from McDonald's, they're probably going to tell me to go pound sand. So probably not going to get that data. So I'm going to have to speculate a little bit. But I would like to see those two data points for McDonald's. Let's continue with the blog here. How does Wendy's FreshAI work with the restaurant teams? Think of, the article continues to think of Wendy's FreshAI as an assistant, not a replacement. That's right. Like I'm just saying, this is not a replacement. It's going to be a tool that the team members can use, the employees can use. Continue here to empower Wendy's crew members working the drive-thru. Wendy's FreshAI allows our crew to focus on what matters most: preparing and serving hot and delicious food customized for our fans and building relationships that bring them back. Right. So this will make things more efficient. This is efficiency in the market. This is something I don't hear about from AI influencers. I always hear AI is going to take jobs. AI is going to replace everyone. There's no type of economic analysis. I don't ever hear anybody talk about, well, I have experience in a large organization and I read Dilbert. I didn't understand that. Oh, that's my phone. It's my phone doing that. Well, you weren't supposed to understand. Now I'm talking to my phone. You weren't supposed to understand that. That wasn't for you, phone. That's funny. I don't know if you heard that or not. I have to listen to it on review if you actually heard that. But my phone actually asked me a question when I was talking. Anyway, AI influencers don't talk about market efficiencies. They don't talk about, at least none that I interact with, at least not to the degree that I do. And just for context, I don't have a degree in economics, but I am a member of Omicron Delta Epsilon, which is a fancy way of saying I have an lifetime honorary membership in an International Economics Association, because I took way too many economics courses as an undergrad, and I got a really good GPA. And so they said, hey, we noticed you take a lot of economics courses and you have a high GPA. How would you like to join? Sure. I like economics. Makes me a better engineer. At the time, I was studying mathematics and systems, so I wasn't directly studying engineering as I would in grad school, but yeah, sure. And I don't remember everything. Economics is a large field, wonderful discipline. I don't remember everything, but I remember basic stuff: supply, demand, efficiencies, trade-offs, incentives. Really, the things that you should. I would say the most important things. I would say the things that are probably the biggest bang for their buck are the things I remember. And if I reviewed all the other stuff, I'd probably remember as well. But that's why I have not been convinced that AI was just going to replace everyone. And the reason why is I don't ever hear economic language from AI influencers, from tech people. I don't hear things like trade-offs, incentives, efficiencies, supply, demand, terms like that. Terms that would indicate to me that there's some sort of economic analysis included in this AI analysis. So I was already saying earlier in the video that no, it's not going to replace them. It's not going to do that. It's going to help them. And I just gave you an example of what would happen to the person who used to work at the used to do the drive-through window. The person's not going to lose their job. Their jobs just become more efficient. But because AI is a probability machine, they're not going to be replaced. They need somebody there to guide the process. If anything, this is going to create more jobs. Maybe not necessarily on the Wendy side. Maybe. But I'm thinking probably more on the Google side. This project needs to be maintained. This is a new market for Google. So it's not just a search engine anymore. Now they have technology that's being embedded into fast food restaurants. That's a whole new world. You need a new team for that. That's a new project. That's what we call an industry, a project. And they need to maintain that. And it's not maintained for like 2 weeks. I'm talking about for the length of the life of the project. They have to maintain that. Now, how many engineers? How many? Yeah, is it going to be one project engineer and 5 engineers? Depends on the number of stores. Well, yes and no. I mean, their technology should be able to. They should have maybe a team. I could envision them having a team of 6 or 7 people, and they'll write the software. Well, I don't know. They don't talk about the hardware in any of these, so I'm not sure how that works. I imagine there's hardware that's coming along with it as well, and that might even actually be another company that's not being talked about in here. Somebody's got to build the hardware. Hardware doesn't just come out of thin air, but somebody's got to build it. So it's not going to replace them. It's going to empower Wendy's crew members working the drive-thru. Article continues here. Wendy's FreshAI allows our crew to focus on what matters most. I know I read this before. Preparing and serving hot and delicious food customized for our fans and building relationships that bring them back. Right. Because if you get the orders right, customers are going to be happy and they're going to have friendlier relationships with the employees. And the employees are going to have better experiences. That's what they're talking about. Employees, team members are going to have better experience with the customers because the customers aren't going to be yelling at them, be swearing at them. When I get my Dave doubled, douche. Or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying not to swear because this is going to be put on YouTube. But we don't need to imagine those negative relationships happen because, well, we've eaten some fast food and we're Americans and we probably know that happens quite often. I mean, those are literally comedic bits in movies. So probably not telling anything. I'm not probably not telling you anything you don't already know. So it's going to reduce that. So the customer will have better experience and the team members will have a better experience. That's what they're talking about here. So let's continue here. Article continues. We continue to work closely with our partners in operations and at the restaurant as we evolve Wendy's FreshAI for our customers and crew while bringing more locations online. Right, they're moving from 100 to 600. In fact, our Wendy's technology and operations teams have spent thousands of hours working from the dining rooms of our restaurants to observe and talk to the crew and customers about their experience. Right? Yeah, and by the way, it's not just you have more people, more jobs on the Google side. I imagine now you're going to have more job on the Wendy's sides as well. I mean, you have them in the restaurant, but you also need a crew. Maybe this will become an IT problem, maybe an IT support type thing, or IT would support it, would support the technology on the Wendy's side. Let's continue here. In fact, our Wendy's technology and operations team have spent thousands of hours working from the dining rooms of our restaurants to observe and talk to crew and customers about their experience. Okay, I read that part. With this fully immersed approach, we developed a short feedback loop with our key audiences, helping us update and shape the technology efficiently and effectively. So it's not something that you just started doing. It's something they've been working on for a while, and now they're going to scale it from 100 to 600 stores. Article continues here. Ready to see Wendy's Fresh AI at your local drive-thru? I don't know. Are you ready for it? Do you want to see? Do you want to be able to interact with AI at your Wendy's store? Go ahead and drop that question or answer. Drop that answer in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions, drop those below. That does help the algorithm. It does help me quite a bit. If you're not following me, and if I earned your follow today or subscription, I would appreciate it. You can subscribe to me on YouTube and Rumble. And by the way, I do have more than 30 followers or subscribers on YouTube, so I want to say thank you to everyone. I appreciate it. That honestly is pretty cool. And I hope you appreciate what I do and the type of knowledge I give you. Hopefully it helps you. Let's see here. Wendy's Fresh AI is now active across 4 company restaurants in the Columbus, Ohio market. So 4. So you have 4 company restaurants. Okay, so there's 4 in the Columbus, Ohio market, with more slated through end of 2023 and into early 2024. So when was this posted? Let me go back up here. $2023. Oh, it was 2023. I was thinking it was 2024. All right, so this is a bit older. It's 2025. I'm thinking 2023 is like a few months ago. No, it's not. My mistake. Sorry. That's on me. I will make myself do push-ups after I get off and thrash myself, as we would say in the Marine Corps and the Navy. Let's see here. So anyway, they have that I lose my spot here. All right. I do that sometimes. Not a lot. All right, so let's start over. Wendy's Fresh AI is now active across 4 company restaurants in the Columbus, Ohio market, with more slated through end of 2023 and into early 2024. We're also offering opportunities for franchisees to pilot Wendy's Fresh AI. What did I say? What did I say? See? Offering opportunities for franchisees to pilot Wendy's Fresh AI in 2024. What did I say? You know what? I didn't read. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't read this entire statement. I read like the first paragraph. And now that I'm going through reading it, boy, did I call that shot. I saw that last summer, and that I saw it in before the McDonald's. I have to go back and listen to some of my other episodes, but I called this one a while back that franchisees would probably be involved and would get the opportunity. Boy, I called that shot. Just basking. I'm basking right now. Let's see here. So, article continues as we continue to receive interest from many who are eager to evolve their own restaurant experiences with this innovative technology. We remain focused on providing the fast, accurate, and consistent drive-through experiences our customers expect from us. This means resisting the urge to deploy widely and too quickly. Like I said, they're going to do an incremental process. That's indicating what they're doing here. That's their strategy. It's a smart strategy. We are still in the early stages of iterating and evolving Wendy's Fresh AI to serve our customers as we scale to more restaurants. And we'll finish this off here. What's next for Wendy's AI innovation? Wendy's cutting-edge Fresh AI platform is designed to transform drive-thru ordering by delivering greater speed, accuracy, and consistency to the customers. But we won't stop there. We plan to continue expanding Wendy's Fresh AI to new, exciting channels while enhancing our restaurant team and customer experiences. This could include integrating AI with the Wendy's app, in restaurant kiosks, mobile devices, smart home devices, and more, with a multi-channel approach to provide the best experience for our fans, however they choose to order. Right? There's a lot of different directions they could go in here. Fascinating applications of AI. Very fascinating. And I think this is why I started doing AI videos for AIs in restaurants. I just felt like, as they are called, I believe in entrepreneurship, I believe restaurants are called high-risk businesses. I believe that's the term, which means they have very low profit margins. Very, very, very low. Very low. Like, local policies hurt restaurants. If the wrong type of economic policies are implemented, restaurants can go out of business very, very quickly just from that. So they're very sensitive. And AI is one of those technologies that can really help restaurants. It's just the restaurant has to figure out how to do it. And so Wendy's, by moving slowly and doing a test run with the first 100 restaurants, and probably maybe they did a test run before that. The article doesn't say this. Well, this doesn't say in the previous article. It didn't say. Yeah, but maybe they started with a slower group, or not slower. They started with a smaller group of restaurants before the 100. Maybe they moved up from 20 or 30. I don't know. Just guessing at this point. I'm speculating. So they move up to 600. That this is their strategy. Slow and steady wins the race. And they also have to build the infrastructure as they go. And they have to uptrain their employees. They also have to change their internal systems about how they train their employees, because now they have AI systems. It's like learning how to use a computer. The interface, not underneath. So this is fascinating. This is really interesting to me to see how this is being implemented in the market by Wendy's. Of course, if something works, all the rest are, Burger King, Del Taco. I'm trying to think of fast food restaurants, In and Out if you're in the southwest United States. There's other places as well. Culver's if you're in the Midwest. So very exciting, very interesting. I'm happy to see it. I'm not anti-AI, I'm pro-AI, but I'm practical about AI. Very practical, and I like to utilize different perspectives on analyzing this technology in the marketplace. Anyway, let's see here. Where's my have a great night. See you tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Piece of paper at. So I had all these papers and I stapled some of them together, so I kind of lost my place of where I was going. But that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Were there any questions you thought I should have asked? That's the most important thing. Were there any questions I missed? There were. Please put those in the comments below. Would love to hear from you, either on X, Rumble, or Twitter. Well, Twitter and X are the same thing. YouTube, excuse me. If so, please post them in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you, like I just said. In addition, please like, share, and subscribe, because that does help the channel. It really does. It does help me a lot. And I will see you in the next episode.